Beautiful. Welcome, welcome. I'm Adam Hart,
And I'm Carl Swantoon.
and we are Clear Impact Coaching. Welcome to another beautiful session. What are we up to today?
We are going to talk, Adam, about the fact that we're all on a unique journey, a beautiful, unique journey through life. And life is what, Adam?
Life is awesome.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, and we all get stopped in different ways from experiencing our best quality of life. And what we're going to talk about today is the uniqueness of our journey and how comparison to others and to expectations can really stop us from experiencing our best quality of life. Yeah. We all have that powerful opportunity, right?
Yeah.
But our lives are unique. In what ways are our lives unique, Adam?
Well, in every moment we have different choices,
right.
And that revolves around all the areas of our life: health, finance, career. We have challenges, we have different opportunities that are popping up. We have different moments of joy, different moments of connection, relationships, pains, pleasures, all sorts of different ways that we're just very unique.
Yeah, and even you can look around in our own culture, we're unique, but think about it around the world. We're incredibly all unique. People live completely different existences. And, there's, people on different continents that have different social structures, different cultures, and completely different. But certainly even just your experience of life compared to your children's or your spouses or your friends or other people you see through business. It's really crazy how unique we all are with, 7 billion people on the planet, and every experience is different, right?
We just don't usually give it the thought to really dive into that conversation.
Mm-hmm. And I think, and our culture, our society has trained us from a young age through institutions to sort of bring us together to what the expectations of life are, to make us feel like we should all have similar expectations of life. We should all have, to some degree, similar experiences of life. We should all go to college. We should all get a good career. We should all own a house. We should all have a car, right? All those things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know I had blinders on for many years when I was in my 20s with my life experience, just thinking that this is the way. We're all kind of doing exactly the same thing. We're all going for the piece of paper that says I'm qualified to do whatever that is, that then lets you earn the money, that lets you buy that house, that lets you have the kids, that lets you have and that's supposed to be the way it is.
Yeah, that's our path to happiness, supposedly, and fulfillment.
I had no clue that the way I have been living the last 20 years was even a possibility back then.
Right. Because all you see is, like you say, you had the blinders on. You only see what's out there, and how we see it leads to comparison, right?
Yeah.
So how do we, what are examples of that? How do we see ourselves comparing ourselves to others?
Well, I know for me, for so long, I still do it now too. Just one example is just, you think of just like a possession, like a vehicle. How I used to see other people, growing up in Toronto, is like every time a nice car went by, I was like, ooh, I want to be that guy. I want to be that. I want that car. I want that thing.
Right.
It's that. Yeah. Even now I see nice cars and I'm like, ooh, I fall back into that old pattern of coveting what other people have.
Right. And certainly houses is a huge thing, right? Yeah. Look at that guy's beautiful house. Look at that lady's beautiful condo, whatever it is.
Yeah. Even now, like my kids, they see a hot tub at somebody's house and like, ooh, I want to go live at their house.
Right. And it's so much, we get so caught up in that comparison that it creates judgment within ourselves around, are we being successful? Are we living the life that we could live? I don't know, could live, right? Or leave. And so we get stuck in that judgment spiral, right?
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to have any sense of gratitude for what you do have when you're always focused on what you don't.
Yeah. It's a very external thing, right? It's an external focus. And so oftentimes it's, look what's happening to me compared to you. And we hear that all the time when we hear people that are in distress. For one reason or another, whether it's, financially or health-wise or whatever. Why me? It's not fair. And there's this sense of life is supposed to be fair.
Yeah. And I think it's just gotten worse with, obviously, we know social media has,
oh my God.
The fake narrative of what others have when you're feeling tired at the end of the day and you're scrolling online and you just start to live through everybody else's lives and not realizing that it's not all, rainbows and lollipops in there, but that's what you think it is. And we start to judge ourselves for that.
Yeah. Judging ourselves. It's not fair. It's not fair. Look at how awesome everyone else is, because that's all we see is the awesome bits.
Yeah.
And look how life has happened to me. People need to understand how unfair it is. Well, again, that's a trap, right? And it leads to a bunch of negative blockers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest ones for sure is leads to a lot of self-sabotaging thoughts. What's wrong with me? Or just even that energy of lack. Like it starts this constant daily pressure of our thoughts of needing to go after. I got to get more. I got to keep up with the Joneses.
Right. Totally.
That's for the whole busy, and there's a consequence to it for sure.
Yeah, totally. And that idea of, complacency. Well, it's not my fault. I can't be happy. I can't be healthy. I can't be whatever, wealthy. Look at all the stuff that's happened to me. So I'm just going to sit here and either those feelings of being a martyr, feelings of shame, sitting with feelings of shame, because I think we can all look back into our lives and say, well, I could have made different decisions. I could have tried harder at this. I could have done a better job at that. I could have been less of an asshole in this situation or whatever, right? And then we sit in that feeling of shame and regret. And that stops us as well, right?
Yeah. It's the thoughts that ruminate on our future and desire for the future to be different. But it's thoughts about our past of why haven't I been able to keep up with the way everybody else's lives look like they're so beautiful and so in flow. But some deep feelings of shame. Look at my, we get to this mature stage in life and, oh my God, look what those decisions I made, how I could have experienced such a beautiful life and I didn't because I was stuck here. Yeah. So I think as soon as we can really accept the premise that all journeys are different, and if we take away that supposed measure of success and compare, then comparison falls away. If we stop looking at our journey in terms of whether it's successful or not by whatever measure is in our head, then we can say, okay, it's just a journey. Yeah. And it can open the door, because when we can let go of that comparison, it's not saying it's easy. We're getting bombarded with advertising and social media and all that stuff if we choose to have those blue screens on. And that's why I think one of the reasons we get so much relaxation and pleasure when we're away from those blue screens. Yeah. Now you're just experiencing life, right? Yeah. So if we can accept that our journeys are unique and that happiness isn't tied to that success or anything external to us, like all the people we compare ourselves to, it's found within when we follow our heart, right? Yeah. It's not a known, we know of the traditional sense of being at peace and calm, but again, the way society is thrusting us into this ever driving force of needing to have more and get comfort and happiness in the external, we know it leads to suffering. And so, and the comparison's a marketing tool, right? It's huge. The comparison, social media, the growth of all social media channels is, so much of it is based off of the comparisons and looking at everybody else and wanting to continue to consume their life as a way to feel better about yours. And I think that I don't want to call anyone out inappropriately, but that this whole idea of this, it's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair. We've got massive groups of people now focusing their whole lives on creating more equality, more fairness, and that's great. Many great causes in terms of, people that have been held back and held down with a lesser opportunity than others. But there's another huge side of this, which is a very personal side, which we've got to look at our own journey. So how do we do it? What are the steps to being able to let go of comparison and honor our own unique journey and find happiness within it? Yeah. I think the first one is definitely getting in touch with your ability to notice when your mind goes to that place, when it starts to ruminate on thoughts of looking at others and saying, wow, I wish it was like that. I wish I had what they had. I wish my journey was a little bit different than what it is. Yeah. then it allows you to start to create a different relationship with it. But until then, it's a lot of suffering, a lot of self-sabotage. So we have to cultivate a relationship internally with our mind to begin to really notice what the mind is up to, and being able to deepen the connection with the mind in a way where you teach your mind to let go of the use of those thoughts, because the thoughts are there because the thoughts feed the brain the stress response from that, the adrenaline, the cortisol. So
yeah, and Adam's going to share with us in a moment a powerful way a tool that we offer to do just that. But I just want to do a call out to anybody that's watching us on YouTube. If you're watching us and you like what we're talking about, subscribe to our channel, look at some of the other stuff in our playlists, give us a like, give us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. But before we get to a really cool tool to help us notice, what's another important step? We're noticing that our expectations are in our head, and we're noticing ourselves comparing ourselves to others. And maybe we're noticing some of those negative feelings of self-sabotage and shame and regret and anxiety. What's another great step to help to support the noticing?
Well, I mean, having community in a way where you're able to communicate what you're feeling, communicate with others what's coming up, and having a sense of you're not alone.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, and being comfortable with being vulnerable it's not part of what comes up when you look at other people's lives, and you start to put your thoughts into how you wish it was that way and this way. That it becomes a very lonely experience.
Right.
So it's really important that you surround yourself with a community who can support you in that way, and you feel safe to express what you're experiencing, and then get the right tools to start to move through it.
Absolutely. As we talk about a lot, we evolve to thrive and survive and thrive in a tribe, not as a lone wolf. And our culture and the marketing out there loves to keep us segregated, loves to keep us apart, and loves to play on our fears. But when we get, like you say, that sense of community, when we surround ourselves with people we can trust, authentic, real conversations, it gives us more strength, gives us more ability to have the confidence to accept our own journey and play within that journey. Right.
Yeah. And I think there's an element, if you're part of the right community, you get one of the main things that most of us crave most is a structure. Structure of how to actually start to work with our own internal energy that allows us to tap into a quality of life that we know we all crave, but have not yet really been able to fully embrace. And it's mainly because we're sabotaged from our ability to bring that energy in. And what we're up to is, let's not focus on our journey is not working. It's not the right one. I want that journey. No, it's a matter of owning this journey, getting in touch with the right tools to start to embrace it for the beauty that it is. Recognize that life is awesome, and cultivate an internal relationship with your life being awesome in a way that you get to be that beacon of light for those that are around you right now that are feeling lonely around this.
Yeah. And it's powerful because it can actually transform your quality of life.
It's huge, and it's immediate. As soon as you start to do this kind of noticing with what your mind is up to in this way, you can cultivate a really beautiful relationship right away with your unique journey, which is what we need more of right now.
Right. And who out there hasn't, maybe you haven't noticed, but who out there hasn't experienced spending a day, 2 days, or hours of the day just ruminating on a certain anxiety or a certain anger, emotion of fear or anger or frustration or irritation with something, and that's stealing your quality of life. That rumination, that hour, 2 hours, day, weeks, months that you spend in those cycles, those patterns of negative emotions and negative self-talk, steals your quality of life. So Adam's going to share with you just really the pathway in, but I'm going to ask you, Adam, not to share the actual tool itself, because we have another video that's going to come up at the end of this video, and you'll have the opportunity to click on that video if you want to learn this tool. Adam, talk to us about nervous system and nervous system regulation, why that's important.
I love this stuff. I mean,
I do.
Well, because it's the beauty of it. It's my mind for so long. I had that background of ADHD, of anxiety, depression, and my mind was locked into patterns of thinking that forced me to do something about it. Because when you notice it, when you start to, you deny the uniqueness of your own life, you're going to suffer in some capacity. And those are mainly symptoms that you're experiencing, whether it's fatigue, whether it's
Right.
brain fog, whether it's agitation, whether it's, just lack of quality in your relationships and your finance. So the point being, there's a way to clean this up that doesn't require you having to overhaul your entire life. It's about cultivating a very deep relationship with your unique journey in this moment, and all about honoring and noticing in the moment of life that you're starting to shift the dialogue and covet somebody else's journey. You have to notice those thoughts. And so the ability to do that is really about your breath initially, using a very particular form of breathing practice that resets the nervous system in the moments of life your brain is trying to trigger, and being able to at the same time also cultivate a reset in your nervous system of the energy that you do want, how you do want to feel. So it allows that to become what you own in this moment. The key here is, again, it's the breath that you're using to reset your mind and the way it uses your thoughts, and then you're resetting your nervous system. Those are the main two steps. Now, to get detail on those, that's what we do.
Yeah, and there's another video that's going to come up right at the end of this video where you can jump in and actually learn this breath practice. And what that does, and what I notice, Adam, it helps me notice when I become present to consciously and intentionally calming my nervous system. I'm doing it for a reason, because I want to be more present. And when I am more present in that calm space, I can look back for the last 10 minutes, half hour, 2 hours, and go, what's my brain been telling me? What are my feelings that I've been feeling? And how much of that is tied to this anxiety around, comparison of myself to others, or how other people should be, or how I should have been. And so the noticing our ability to notice effectively is a direct result of our ability to have a calm, regulated nervous system.
That's it. You really want to be able to create an environment, an internal environment, where your nervous system is co-regulating your brain, is constantly telling your brain, hey brain, I love you. You're okay. You're safe. You don't have to use those thoughts. And I think we can agree, for those of us that are parents out there, my daughter is 10. She doesn't have access to a lot of social media, but those parents out there who, your kids have access to social media, this is a problem for them. They don't have the ability to co-regulate their own mind. And they don't have parents, for the most part, that understand the biology of the mind, the brain, and the nervous system, and how it's functioning. So this is a very important time for us parents to understand our own ability to enhance our quality of life in this moment. Yeah. For you to also be that for your kids.
That's great. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, huge.
Do you want to learn how to use our heart flow breath practice, and or want a further conversation around this? Please give us a comment. Would love to hear from you and have a chat with you, and or learn the practice and start to notice the uniqueness of your journey and your opportunity outside of comparison. Thanks again, Adam.
Yeah, thank you guys.
See you.